Chapter 33. I should definitely note that Marie Corelli does go on, that the opening of this chapter of him basically saying, I'm leaving, takes a while. She does somewhat go on in her diction and stuff. It's all entertaining stuff, but you can see why this book is 558 pages long. So there is that. Even when I get caught up in it, there's sometimes I'm like, could we kind of just go on, get on with it in itself. He writes Sybl, Lady Sybl, Tmpst writes Lady Sybl a very nasty letter saying he's leaving and he never wants to see her again. Um, and I'm going to travel, Lucio's like, oh yes, some of the greatest husbands are all traveling in like Africa and Egypt and all that stuff. And there's yet another thing saying like, oh, we can go to the land where my Egyptian princess tortured the souls of men. Maybe we can even find the remains of her last victim. And Tempest goes, gee, I wonder if there's some connection between that moth, and the imagined Egyptian princess who tortured the souls of men, and Sybl. Yes, there's also a lot of autumnal fields which are barren and just like my soul, that sort of thing, which is like, okay, Marie Corelli, I see what we're going with there. Um, there's a thing at the end here where Lucio's like, women should be concerned with the raising of children and should, like, aristocratic women are surprised when their children turn out to be bores or fools or blackguards when they hand over the care of their children to servants and stuff like that. It's like, it's not surprising. They should, if I was controlled the state, they'd be forced to do it unless they had like a couple of notes from a doctor. This would, and stuff like that. Yes, yes. Otherwise, any woman refusing to comply with the law should be sentenced to imprisonment with hard labor. This would bring them to their senses. The idleness, wickedness, extravagance of selfishness of women makes men the bores and egotists there are. So he's very much on the let's blame women for all our troubles, or at least he's feeding that into Tempest's views of things. He's definitely used Sybl as a tool to further um, bring down Tmpst. And he kind of says like, oh, gee, one would think this was almost all my fault. It's like, if I had never met her, yeah, but if you'd never met her, I would have never met her because you introduced me to her. So he's like, oh, he's like, see, yeah, there is that, and he's smiling the whole time. So he's really winding Tmpst up. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.